Fernando Alonso has re-signed with Aston Martin for the next 2 years at least. That's right, everybody, until 2026, we will be seeing more Fernando Alonso in British Racing Green, and that means, of course, we will get a much anticipated reunion with Honda. So this was obviously a big update for the silly season for F1 2025. Of course, Alonso was one of the drivers out of contract. Many people were speculating on his future. Would he stay with Aston Martin? Would he potentially go to Red Bull or Mercedes? Or would he just finally call it quits and retire altogether? Well, now we have our answer. Alonso and Aston Martin have both decided, look, I mean, this partnership has worked out brilliantly for them so far. Alonso has done great with developing this car and honestly outperforming it. Yes, Aston Martin has pretty much evolved into being one of the perennial top teams on the grid. Yes, they haven't started out as well as they did in 2023. However, they are in a much better place than they were just a couple of years ago. And a huge part, obviously, of that comes down to Fernando Alonso. This guy's been absolutely lights out for them, racking up multiple podiums, constantly pushing the big teams and showing that age is just a number. He's aging like a fine wine. And honestly, next year is going to be very good for them, but it's 2026 where everyone is super interested to see how Aston Martin and how Honda is going to adapt to the new engine regulations. I think this is a fantastic move for Aston Martin. To be honest, even if Alonso doesn't stay past 2026 and finally decides to retire, I think ushering in a new era of regulations with an already proven and experienced driver, a former world champion who's currently gelling with the car extremely well. Why would you want to break that up? He's clearly on top of things there. And yes, we all know the history Alonso had with Honda, but this is a new era. Honda is much better than they were when they first came back into the sport, and I'm pretty sure Alonso is very excited to get back to working with them. Now yes, we cannot deny the fact that this was probably one of the worst driver and manufacturer relationships we've seen in recent times. We cannot forget the GP2 engine comments, of course, coming at Honda's home race at Suzuka 2, just completely embarrassing for everyone involved at that time. But times changed, they left McLaren, they went to Red Bull, the rest is history. It's clearly the best engine on the grid right now, and who's to say that it won't be the best when it comes around 2026 and the new regulations are put into place. And to be honest, Aston Martin is in a really good position to be set up for the future. We already know that Lawrence Stroll is dumping every single penny he possibly can into turning Aston Martin into a potential championship or contending or winning team in the future. And we saw Mercedes do something pretty spectacular when the previous new regulations came into place in 2014. Absolutely smoked everyone. They were on top of things right from the get-go, and they enjoyed an incredibly dominant period that, of course, led to 8 consecutive Constructors' World Championships. And who is honestly to say that Aston Martin can't pull off the exact same thing in 2026 with all the brilliant minds working in that team and then led by Fernando Alonso at the wheel as well? I seriously would not be surprised if Fernando Alonso were to win a final world championship in 2026 and then walk away for good. He's clearly stated with this new signing he has unfinished business with Aston Martin, and he believes that yes, they can fight for the title. Maybe not next year, but in 2026 when they join forces with Honda and they take on the big dogs. So yes, I think this was ultimately the best decision for Fernando Alonso and Aston Martin. They can continue this successful partnership and hopefully just keep racking up good results, podiums here and there, and then maybe challenge for those wins and potentially the championship down the road. Now, of course, this signing also opens up a ton of new questions and closes some doors on the silly season for 2025. We know Alonso is off the table now, so he's one of the drivers we can rule out for a potential move to Mercedes or even to Red Bull if those crazy Max Verstappen leaving rumors are true. And even at Aston Martin, it's still not officially set in stone who his teammate will be for next year. I mean, probably 96% that it will be Lance Stroll. He's still under contract after all, but when your dad owns a team, he can kind of make the calls and do whatever he wants. If he feels that they can seriously contend for a championship and Lance just can't really pull it off, well, he's going to have to put his big boy pants on and make a serious decision there. But I'm pretty sure Lance Stroll will still be there next year competing with Fernando Alonso at Aston Martin. Guys, let me know what you think of this update from Fernando Alonso and Aston Martin. Do you think this was a good signing and a good decision to stick on with each other for the next couple of years? Because I certainly think it's a very good idea. Well, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. As always, I encourage you to hit subscribe, like, and share these videos so we can keep growing the good word of Racing Direct. Thanks as always, guys, and we'll see you next time.